Hello. My name is Marcus. I'm the compiler of a collection of therapy quotes entitled 1001 Windmills of the Mind. The reason I sort of laughed a little bit at the beginning, because I just completed this video. I just did an hour plus video, an hour and a half video. But once in a blue moon, my phone freaks out on me. I think it overheats or something. And suddenly, unbeknownst to me, with no warning, my camera just suddenly shut out. So when that happens, I lose the video. That has happened a couple of times. It was a pretty good video. I did my usual introduction of talking about narrative medicine and attachment trauma, relational trauma, and the second journey of midlife of how do we reconnect with our authentic self. And a good introduction and my disclaimers. I did all that kind of stuff, and I was just sort of preparing to do the quotes, today's quotes, which is 27:18 today. So I didn't want the day to be a total loss kind of thing. It's kind of getting late in the afternoon already, so it's a bit of a pity. I enjoyed the part one. It's gone. I enjoyed it. It was gone. So I thought, what am I gonna do? So I thought, okay, let's just do something basic here. My name is Marcus. I'm the compiler of a collection of therapy quotes taken from what's often called the psychodynamic or the psychoanalytic tradition or perspective, which long ago, as I understand it, was referred to by some as philosophical medicine or narrative medicine, for the love of narrative medicine, to borrow a line from the singer Steve Perry, who has a song called For the Love of Strange Medicine. I thought I'd borrow that line, and I thought I'd borrow that song title and call it For the Love of Narrative Medicine. And, for the love of philosophical medicine. Almost 3,000 years ago, the famous philosopher Confucius said to his students, "Dear students, when I'm in a party of 3, I always have 2 teachers. To the one I admire, I study from him. To the other, in whom I see traits that I don't like, I search for those very same traits in myself." So here's Confucius talking about what we now refer to as projection, owning your projection, drawing your projection, shadow work, owning something about yourself that you don't know belongs to you. But what the psyche does is it makes you believe someone else possesses it, creating a mirror for you to see that it belongs to you. So Confucius was already engaged in philosophical medicine with his little teaching parables and all that. So this has been around a long time. Okay, Lao Tzu in the deleted video, I talked a bit about Lao Tzu a little bit. So let's save it, redo it another time. The yin and the yang philosophy. Very interesting point. Yeah, what a pity. I spent about half an hour on that. That was pretty good, I thought. Yikes, yeah. I'm still reeling from the loss of that video. It's going to trigger more of my anxiety. And my disclaimer, once again, I have anxiety. I have been analyzed. I'm not a shrinker professor. I'm only the compiler of the quotes. So I'm finding these 10,000 quotes. So we now have 10,000 of these babies. Excellent, clear quotes, informative, fun, educational. We can give you a little insight. And so you have 10,000 of these, or roughly 2,000 pages like this. So imagine this page times 2,000. It's a whole encyclopedia of these insights. And I've plucked out what I believe to be the best of the best, so that if any person reads roughly 10 of these quotes, chances are, I'm hoping or I'm thinking, one might be of interest or of help. And that sort of fits in with Robert Bly's advice to read psychology every day for 10 minutes, identify a quote, and then free associate by it. Like, what does it remind you of? Why did you choose that quote? And just try to make yourself more conscious of yourself. When you free associate, you're kind of making the unconscious conscious. When you free associate, you relax, say what comes to mind. What you previously didn't know kind of comes up like that. So you want to make the unconscious conscious. The image is Hermes flies across with a message from your unconscious to your conscious. And you want to be more conscious. Where it was, ego shall be. That helps you to reconnect and reunite with yourself. healing and wholeness, the more connected you are with yourself, you feel more whole, hence healed, healing and wholeness. Yeah, in the deleted video I showed you the swan, and I talked a fair bit about Snow White being a metaphor for when our authentic self gets frozen due to trauma. So the baby, when the baby is traumatized, his authentic self gets stunted in its development, arrested development, developmental arrest. The image seems to be Snow White in a coma in the glass box. So again, myths and fairy tales are metaphors for psychology. They're true on the inside and on the outside. They're metaphors for psychological trauma. So imagine that. Okay, so Snow White represents a metaphor for a person's beingness, your authentic self, your beingness, Imagine that your beingness is in a coma. It's there, you see it kind of thing, but it's in a coma, and there's a wall there, like the glass wall like that, so you're not connected to it. There's a barrier, there's a block there. It's there, and it's a coma, and there's a block. So you're disconnected from yourself. Oh my God. Like, we're meant to be connected to ourselves. We're meant to be connected to our beingness. You know, and that's the whole issue. We had our authentic self, it got repressed, or another image is this core in the Greek myth got pulled down. Oh, we talked about that before, yeah. So when the authentic self of us is frozen like that, we develop what's called a mask, a persona, a false self, an unreal self, a scaffolding of defense mechanisms, operations of the mind, maneuvers of the mind, mental mechanisms, defense mechanisms, kind of bunch it up, I guess. Everybody's got their unique little bundle of it. That's like the false self. So we can function in life and live through life using this false self. But our sense of home, our beingness, I feel that for M's, our authentic self, our true self, our real self, the word of the year by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary Company last year, 2023, was authentic. This authentic self that we're all given, and the gifts there, it's all kind of frozen like that. So yes, with the false self, we go through life. Okay, so we're in a bit of a trance. We're going through the motions of life, but we can still get 10 medals, 10 awards, 10 PhDs, right? 10 hit songs, whatever. We can still be successful like that, but we're missing ourselves. Like, we're missing our home within. You know, and then at midlife, it kind of comes up. We realize this at midlife with the hunches and the Freudian slips and the psychosomatic symptoms and the delayed onset of PTSD, and maybe just observing your passive progressive behavior and so on. So we talked about, there's no record of it. You know, it's funny when I do a video, if it shuts down, let's check it now. How's it now? Let's see. It says 73. I'm trying to reboot the thing. Whenever a video just suddenly shuts down on me, due to overheating or some fault or something, I lose the video. Or if the battery zonks out on me and there's no warning, I couldn't catch it, I lose the whole video. I have to physically stop the recording and then it gets captured. What a pity. So yeah, okay, so let's make the best of today's time here. So yeah, actually in the last video, 2017, we talked a little bit about this issue of midlife, where it comes to our attention, that we feel that something's missing, our inner home, our sense of self, our ontological self. I feel that for Anna's self, okay, and we live to the extent that we feel. We live to the extent that we're in our inner home and connected to ourself and authentic self. So that kind of comes up. It's a pain like that. In the last video, I spent about a half an hour on the complicated grief topic. That's too bad. I did a good job with that, with the snowballing and the kindling effect. Okay, I'll have to do another time, because I thought I updated it a bit. What a pity. Like, I never know when I'm going to spontaneously do a half-decent video, and some of those I lose. When I lose a video that's mediocre, okay, well, that wasn't so great, I can live with that. But to lose a good video, once in a while I lose a good video like that, it kind of haunts me a little bit, like a bug. So I'm just going to have to refer you to our previous videos here. In the previous videos throughout the series, we talk about some of the core points, like attachment. The baby has a need for a secure attachment style. The metaphors for trauma, a repetition compulsion, a symbolic acting out, Okay, and then translogic, doublethink, the BPD amalgam, okay, identification of the aggressor, the issue of symbiosis, projection, projective identification, reaction formation, rationalizations. These are all important topics to be conscious of as a part of our story to get reunited with ourselves. We need this kind of story, narrative medicine, for the love of narrative medicine. So we have 10,000 quotes to this end. So can I refer you to any of the other videos, or just click the more link in each video and read the quotes. Robert Bly says study this stuff for 10 minutes a day and just make it like a practice kind of thing. That's too bad. Yeah, and during the last video, I was kind of alone. It's a holiday here, by the way. Now people are coming in. Well, there's the swan is. When the swan turns around, I'll show you the swan again. Yeah, he's sort of the star of the show here, the swan. So my disclaimer again, I have anxiety. I haven't been analyzed. I haven't done the analytic process. I'm trying to learn this perspective, just sort of kind of sharing my process of trying to learn it, self-teach it. So my give back for my anxious delivery is that, and for my mistakes obviously, and for my ums and ahs and little mistakes, and taking a long time to get a point out or something. We did. So my give back is the quotes or postability. Click the more link, okay, for the price of for a minimal admin fee. You can get this encyclopedia. Those 2,000 pages just mentioned. You can actually have it on your iPhone for a minimal administrative fee through the link there. A minuscule admin fee for the price of maybe 2 donuts or 1 donut or something. Maybe for the price of 2 regular donuts, or for the price of 1 organic donut. Let's say, I don't know. Yeah, for the price of 1 decent donut, maybe. Well, that guy's doing what I was doing before. I was sort of like walking around a little bit, talking on the phone. Jeez. So can I just do this? Can I just refer you to the last video? It's only a 2-hour video done in the mall there, and I've covered some of the points in that one. And let's use that to fill in for today's introduction. And so normally we talk about repetition compulsion, Edmund Berger's theory about the record, okay, recreating the past and the present, thinking that we can change the past, undo the past at the same time, so that we can know the past to get narrative medicine, so we can stop repeating. If we remember, know the story, we stop repeating. If something happened, we don't know it, we keep repeating in an attempt to know it. And when we repeat the past and the present, there's different forms it takes. The more benign one and the more so-called perverse one, called identification with the aggressor, where the baby becomes the mother. But how does he act like the mother and fight with her? If he is her, how is he going to fight with her? Enter emotional triangle, okay, scapegoating, evocation of a proxy, and so on. So these are all a lot of topics, a lot of interesting topics, fun stuff. They're fun. They're informative. At least 1 out of 10. At least 1 out of 10, I think, will be informative and fun. I'm still carrying this lingering, sad feeling of the loss of that video. I just did it. I was all excited. I was starting to get into a flow. I was getting all excited. Suddenly shut the whole thing. What the? Oh no! So I felt like maybe it triggers a rejection in me. Like maybe it triggers. I'm talking and somebody just walked away or something like that. Hey, what happened? I thought you were connecting here and just suddenly disappeared on me. Like maybe I project or transfer my memory of wanting to connect or communicate with somebody and they're not there. So maybe I'm talking to my imaginary audience and it disappears. So maybe it triggers the pain of the first time. Maybe that's called anxiety. When something minor and benign in the present, it's a harmless, obviously my camera shuts down, there's no big deal, right? But it triggers the childhood memory of wanting to reach out, to connect and be seen and have your needs met and relate, connection, feel safe, and express yourself and know yourself and all that. And then the parent turns their back and walks away. Don't bother me. So that might have been painful as a 1-year-old or 2-year-old or something like that. So and that pain is still there. So maybe some little event that resembles it can flare up that old pain. So I think that's what's happening in me. I'm feeling a bit of that sadness triggered up from the childhood. So that's a very common thing. Something in the present can trigger old childhood experiences, which we haven't metabolized, which we haven't found a story for, so it's still kind of alive like that. So when you are triggered in the present, it's kind of an opportunity to look in the past and get your story like that, like I'm trying to do a little bit here in this moment. What a different video this is, eh? Wow, like from the first one to this one, totally different. So let's just leave it there on that little point there. When something in the present is kind of minimal, and how you feel by the minimal disappointment or something, and you get a lot of feelings that doesn't fit the situation. It's a trivial disappointment. I can do the video again. I can come the next day. It's not that. I don't have millions of viewers, depending on the show or something. So it's not like I'm really like this is not live or something, right? I'm not disappointing too much, right? So it's a kind of a minor thing, right? Realistically speaking, but I'm carrying old childhood emotions still with me. So if there is something that reminds me of parental rejection, i.e. the phone shut down on me, it's like parental rejection, oh, that old pain came up. So something in the present that's kind of minor, even though it's minuscule and minor, like a tech issue, it can resemble or mimic or just somehow have that effect. It's close enough in the analogy or simile or something. Plus, you want to feel the past, you want to know the past, so you'll pick any little thing to do so. Okay, so that's another part of it. And the more pain there is, the slighter the thing can be in the present to trigger it up, because you want to know the past. So some little disappointment in the present can trigger up the parental rejection. Then you identify the needs. You kind of name the needs. Well, as a child, there was a need for that kind of connection, rapport with the parents, a community with like a warm safety relation. To have a parent, you don't want parents to be emotionally immature, angry infants themselves, right? Or you don't want parents to be bitter or absent or something like that. So that's like a loss to not have that. So you're kind of getting your story a little bit. And as a child, you didn't know the story, but now you can get the story. Then you can say, oh, well, let's find our parents. Why were they like that? Well, what happened to them? Let's get their story. When you get their story, you sort of understand them. It helps to understand yourself, leads to forgiveness. So it's painful like this, but the truth will upset you free, this kind of thing. And we need to do this kind of introspection, right? So From Triggered to Tranquility is the title of a self-help book by Susan Campbell. She's got a very good self-help exercise in there called the Unilateral Repair Statement, which we summarized here. I think it's TQ 2360, if I remember correctly. TQ 2360. That quote 2360 is part of our self-help thread. So up to 60 threads here, 59 of them are psychoanalysis, but one is the self-help stuff, the fluffy, self-soothing, make you feel better in a moment kind of thing. So how to make an I statement, things like what's the hardest thing about, fill in the blank, help you pre-associate, self-validation. You feel something, well, that's legit. You must have a very good reason for feeling this. Like if I felt upset by the loss of the phone, I can say to myself, yeah, Marcus, you must have a very good reason for feeling a little angry or hurt or something. Really? It's legit? It's legit. It's legit. When you were a child, you had those needs. All children have needs. That's legit. It's legit. So you kind of validate that kind of thing. And so on. And Rosa Berg's How to Make an I Statement. And Susan Campbell's quote. And Martha Stark's empathy statements. Those are pretty good as well. Ego and the id statement. And so on. So we got a whole thread called self-help exercises. just to help you soothe yourself for the moment. It doesn't heal anything, doesn't correct anything, doesn't change anything, doesn't change psychic structure, doesn't heal or correct. It just helps you to kind of regulate yourself in the moment, like a little bit. Some might argue the self-help exercise, it can change. I don't think so. It's based on fantasies a little bit. It's based on compensating fantasies a little bit. So you feel better for the moment, and sometimes you need to do that, but it doesn't change. So most of the quotes of the 59 chapters are an attempt to get our story. Identify the past as the past, lay the ghost to rest, life force free for the present. See, when there's trauma, the life force feeds into the traumatic loop memory. Memories are relational, child and baby, interaction, memory, unresolved, timeless. Baby's brain is in time. That brain doesn't know time at that time, no time. And traumatized during the time of timelessness, where the need wasn't met in a place of timelessness. What a curse, because your energy is going to loop around. I have those needs. But the pain of not getting needs creates the cry for love. But the pain makes you think, I don't want to know the needs because of the pain, but the need is still there. And all your energy's in this. This creates like a record. So you go through life in new situations playing this record. Either direct or in flip form. And the more perverse way is the flip form, the more benign way is the direct way, which I won't do here this time. It's an emotionally draining topic, that one, right? Identification of the aggressor, the need for attachment theory, being loyal to the mother, okay, the addiction of it all, the narcissistic addiction of it all, okay, the blissful oneness the baby experiences, traumatic bond in there, and then how does he fight with the mother? When he is the mother, enter the proxy phenomena, scapegoating phenomena, emotional triangle phenomena. There's a lot of material there. So again, can I refer you to previous videos for this discussion on identification with the aggressor and so on, those 10 points. There's a good 10 hours of material there. So yeah, so sorry. So for this video, I won't do a real introduction to 1001 Windmills of the Mind, because I did it and I lost it, and I'm not in the mood to redo the whole thing, to tell you the truth. You know, what we did talk about in the last video was complicated grief. Like every time you lose something, you're reminded of previous losses. So that might be happening with me here now. I experienced a kind of loss. I had a good video, a little loss like that. Okay, it's a minor. If you just isolate it, oh, it's a little trivial little loss. But no, little losses can trigger previous bigger losses. And every time you lose something, it can trigger all the major losses from the past, and again and again. So you lose something again and again, it snowballs. You're reminded of a lot of losses from the past. Like a little loss reminds of all your lifelong losses. So I'm feeling that a little bit now, to tell you the truth. Yeah, so sorry to present a video in a slightly sad mood. But if I experience the loss, I'm reminded at an unconscious level. I can feel it in my face, and there's a little bit, that all the other previous losses. So when you experience a little loss, something important to you, even though it's still a little important to you, but it's lost, okay, that can trigger all the previous losses that you didn't process. Now, a lot of us didn't process our major losses. The need for a secure attachment style. Okay, mother's attunement, mother's reverie, mother's presence. If the mother was traumatized herself, she couldn't do it, kind of thing. That's a huge loss, not to have been properly loved, properly mothered. Okay, play the song. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Hootie and the Blowfish has that song, right? He does a cover of that. Just a 1-minute little clip. Okay, you know, maybe the thing for me to do is just plunge into the quotes, and so so I can post them here. And then in the next video, I'll go back to doing an introduction. We'll talk about the record. We'll talk about rotation propulsion. We'll talk about the flip-flopping, the primary mentation. Okay, we'll talk about the triangle, the survival slogans, the issue of anxiety, survival anxiety, the singers and the clingers. We'll cover that ground in the next video. So let's launch into today's quotes here. So yeah, so we're the first one is on transference. So that's a very common topic in psychoanalysis. We transfer everything about us in the past. Okay? Unmet needs, experiences, fears, defense mechanisms, what you wanted to say but couldn't say, all that stuff in the past that didn't kind of come to a conclusion or whatever. Unfinished business with the mother in the past. In the present, we may transfer all that stuff into the present. So now the present is flooded with the past. So you're transferring the past to the present. So you kind of not really, you gotta, now it's all blurred up. What's the present, what's the past kind of thing. That's called, this discussion is called transference. How do we parse out what belongs in the present, what belongs from the past? Now when there's a lot of pain in the past, there's this urgency to deal with it. So we transfer the past to the present. You know, sometimes the present is called the presenting past. Sometimes the present is called the new edition of the past, the reenactment of the past, the restaging of the past, the melodrama of the past, the psychodrama of the past, where we transfer that past to the present. This whole issue of transference, we've got a lot of quotes on transference, so let's add a couple of more here. Transference is a universal phenomenon of the human mind and dominates the whole of each person's relations to his environment. So transference, we all do it, it's a common thing. Nobody had a perfect, happy childhood where they fully love life in the present and they can fully enjoy life in the present and not need to transfer some traumatic pain and unfinished struggle with the unfinished business with the mother, some unfinished struggle with the mother, some unmet need. See, when there's trauma, we have the unconscious hope for the fulfillment of old unfulfilled needs, and we transfer that to the present. See, and a lot of us do have attachment trauma, relational trauma, interpersonal trauma, betrayal trauma, attachment trauma. Okay, Snow White sleeping in the glass box, that's a trauma. Our authentic self is frozen like that. We live with the false self. Okay, we can go through life with the false self, but it's traumatic to be not at home within, not having your golden ball of your primary feelings within. That's a pain like that. Transference is a universal phenomenon of the human mind that dominates the whole of each person's relations to his environment. Transference exists in all relationships, marriage, school, business, friendship, and so on. Because of our unique histories, okay, ego, our minds, ego functioning, is our ego damaged? Like our reality ego damaged? Where we can't really see the present for what it is because we only see the past of the present. A damaged ego makes us only see the past. A strong ego, you can, oh, that's the past, oh, this is the present. And so it depends on your ego functioning. Okay, your inner critic, how much did your mother hate you? And then you hate yourself, that's the inner critic, the superego. Or your belief that it was your job to save the mother. Some babies think it's their job to save the mother, to cure the mother. The baby wants harmony with the mother. Mother's not loving the baby. Baby, don't worry, mother, you're in pain, you're crying for love, you're traumatized. I'll save you, I'll fix you, I'll heal you, I'll make you be a loving mother. Baby thinks he's gonna save the mother. He's gonna fail. He criticizes himself. He failed, he's guilty, he did something wrong. He didn't save his mother. Is it because he's defective, something wrong with him? That's like the superego criticizing you. So you want to be happy in life? The memory says, did you save the mother? No, I didn't. So you can't be happy in life. Oh my God. The superego mandates. Okay, and so on, etc., etc. Each of us brings with us to every new relationship. And so because of our history and everything that took place in childhood, each of us brings with us to every new relationship wishes, fears, anxieties, hopes, pressures, defenses, and many more subjective factors. Many more subjective factors. Like a whole long list there. These have evolved from previous relationships and may or not be appropriate to the new situation, obviously. Inasmuch as these universal phenomena are largely unconscious, we cannot just will them away. You can't just say to yourself, come on self, the past is the past, just get over it, love life in the present. No, you can't love life in the present. The psychic structure needed to love life in the present is either A, having been loved, properly loved by the mother for that, or you forgave her and you got back yourself. Then you can love life in the present. If those two don't take place, you're stuck in the past, dwelling in the past, lingering in the past, in the torpid of a negative symbiosis of the mother, struggling with her, imitating her, trying to save her. It's a mess. It's called the mother complex. So you can't just say a magical thinking and say to yourself, okay, unhappy childhood, well, let's just have a happy adult life. Again, the child needs a level of safety with the mother to feel safe enough to have his identity, then he can love life. If that safety with her and his needs didn't get met with her, then you're frozen there and it's an unresolved thing there. You got to address it, identify, get the story. Why did the mother do what she did? Did she use the baby to comfort her? Did she use the baby as a proxy of her when she was a baby, and then she shamed her own baby to replay how she had been shamed because she identified with the aggressor? This whole topic, did she expect the baby to help the mother to find herself? And Sexton has a poem called Sorry Daughter. The grandmother said to the middle-aged daughter, the 60-year-old woman said to her 40-something-year-old daughter, I'm sorry, daughter, I apologize. I actually had you, I made you, I created you strategically because I wanted to use you, because I wanted to find me. That's the actual poem, I made you to find me, Anne Sexton, 1960. It's in our collection here. So some others are actually using the baby in an attempt to meet their needs. Some others enjoy this symbiotic oneness with the baby for themselves, not for the baby, for themselves. Baby says, I have autonomy. No, you don't. I don't want to lose this blissful, happy feeling. No, I have autonomy. I have a self. I'm meant to be myself. Oh yeah? You're with me or against me? Oh no, mother, I'll sacrifice myself to please you. Very good. So she rewards the regression, punishes the child's autonomy. That poor child is traumatized by this. He can't love life with that kind of memory. He's too terrified. His amygdala is too flared up. He's always thinking in survival mode. That's relational trauma. He's always terrified of the mother, and he sees the world as the mother. So you gotta forgive the mother to love life in the present. Ultimately, they influence our perceptions. They influence our perceptions of the people we meet. Very often, therefore, the reasons we give for responding to people with hate, anger, love, etc., are rationalizations. Now, it's kind of embarrassing to yourself and to others to admit that you're still trying to get your old infantile needs met, or you're expressing your anger at the mother. So, some benign little thing in the present, and you're suddenly very angry. Why are you so angry at that person? That was pretty benign. Well, what you did was, you transferred your mother who hurt you onto the benign person in the present, and your anger at the mother, you directed your anger to the mother using the person in the present as your mother who hurt you back in the past. Now you're so angry to the person in the present. That's transference. The person did some benign little thing, like the waitress doing their job, or the cashier doing their job, or some benign little misunderstanding, or just some little trivial little thing, and you're angry at them. Oh, that's transference. So then, what do you do then? You point it out to them. You make an excuse for it. Rationalization is when you want to give the appearance of being reasonable, to hide your unreasonable transference. It's inappropriate and unreasonable to see the waiter or the waitress as the mother who hurt you. You know, that kind of thing. So this thing called rationalization means you're not being rational. It's the brain creating some kind of excuses that sound rational. Its purpose is to give the appearance of being rational, to hide and camouflage and cloak how you're still being unreasonable in that and not making sense in that, and even semi-psychotic in the sense that you're transferring your infantile breast mother from the nursery, this archaic first breast mother, to the person of the present, like the baby's the rage of the mother. or maybe the mother wanted too much from the baby. So the cashier asks you, would you like can I help you? Do you want, like, you want something from me? And back off, waitress. Like, oh my God. Waitress says, look how rude that guest is, or something like that. A good example is in the nursing home. Someone said he's still back in the nursery, in the nursing home. So the benign cleaning lady or did a little thing or something, and he barks at the cleaning lady. Because the cleaning lady is the mother in the nursery. Well, why'd you get so angry at the cleaning lady or something? She's doing her job here. She did nothing wrong, really. He'll make some excuse. Well, yesterday she came at 5 o'clock, and now she came at 5:05. That's why you're trying to make some excuse to fool yourself that your lie is reasonable. That's not reasonable, but you're trying to BS yourself to yourself and others reasonable of why you're so angry at that person. Trivial little thing. Okay, again. Transference is a universal phenomenon of the mind. It exists everywhere: marriage, teacher, doctor, workplace, etc. Because of our unique histories, okay, etc. Each of us brings with us to every new relationship, okay, all these childhood, unmet, unprocessed, undealt with, unseen, unaccepted, unknown knowns, okay, unmet needs, old fears, unmet hopes, expectations of the mother, the belief that you have to save the mother, these pressures, how you're coping, and so on. Maybe you're angry at the mother, maybe you identified with her, maybe you want to treat others the way you were treated, to communicate how you were treated, all this past stuff. So because of our histories, we bring these things, we bring the past to the present. These have evolved from previous relationships, and they're not appropriate. They're usually not appropriate to the present. Inasmuch as these are universal phenomena, are largely unconscious, and since it's not conscious, you can't consciously say, the puppet can't tell the puppet master, stop the puppet master. The puppet is powerless to the puppet master, right? That kind of thing. So the unconscious, the energy and all that's sometimes called the puppet master. And we're like the little puppet like that. The puppet master is pulling our strings to continue this past in the present. The puppet master is doing this. Our consciousness can't say, come on, puppet master, stop. I want to love life in the present. Don't pull me into the past. Don't make me see the present as the past. Puppet master says, no, we got unfinished business here. I'm terrified of what happened. I want to master this. I want to see somebody in the present as the mother in the past. No unconscious. Nobody in the present is the past mother. And Puppet Master says, I don't know time. I only see that past. I only see that past. So I'm going to get you to see people in the present as the past. The puppet says, Puppet Master, come on here. Puppet Master's dealing with an inflared amygdala. You can't reason with a crocodile, Janoff jokes. These influence our perceptions. And then, what reasons do you have for this? Okay, well then the Puppet Master says, okay, conscious you, I want you to use your 10 PhDs to use your philosophies, use your book knowledge, use all those jokes in your joke. Find some euphemism, find some elaborate, confusing, tricky, hedging kind of thing to say to fool yourself and others. Play on people's emotions, or innuendo this, or assume this, or pretend you said what they said, or you say what they said. Just do some kind of flippy thing. Fool everybody, yourself and others. It's called rationalization. So the Puppet Master wants the conscious person to provide the camouflage for them. In short, the baby wants his mother to love him. If the mother didn't love him, meet his needs, meaning didn't meet his needs. When we say mother didn't love him, we mean whether or not the mother met the baby's needs for secure attachment style, rhythm of safety, attunement, reverie, like mother's presence and warmth and comfort and dialogue, and mother soothes the baby, mother sees the baby, mother hears, feels, recognizes the baby. Mother says, how wonderful baby. Mother accepts and welcomes the baby, treats the baby as a person, and meets the baby's needs. Not use the baby to meet her needs. The mother is there to meet the baby's needs. Creates that blissful oneness for the baby. Gives the baby his paradise and his Shambhala and Shangri-La and his Nirvana and his Avalon and his paradise and the Garden of Eden. Give the baby his paradise. The baby can't know himself if he didn't get that first paradise. So if the baby didn't get that first paradise, and you're going through life still looking for it, that doesn't make sense. That paradise that's missing is what's called the blissful oneness, where the baby's one with the mother. And the mother's attuned. She knows instantly what the baby needs and feels, and she responds. There's a rhythm of safety, a back and forth. Kind of like a continuation for the first 4 to 5 months of what took place in the uterus. Baby, cord, placenta, mother, mother, placenta, cord, baby, baby, cord, placenta, mother, mother, placenta, cord, baby, do, re, mi, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, 1. And the musical flows like so. In the nursing, in the first 4 to 5 months, skin-to-skin contact, breastfeeding, natural feeding, loving gaze, mother's warm embrace. Mother understands all the little signals and responds smoothly, flows. At 4 to 5 months, he's nourished, he's loved, he felt safe, he developed from the memory of that nourishment, a mother's maternal life force nourishment for the baby. Then at 4 to 5 months, he can hatch out of that psychological egg. He needs that egg. A lot of babies are not getting that egg. If the person doesn't get that egg, it can lead to the bully pattern, Iago pattern, lower functioning BPD pattern. Sometimes the child does bond with the mother, but it's very painful. It's very disturbed. That's called one of the narcissistic patterns. It's a negative oneness with the mother. So there's a problem with this area with the mother in the first 18 months. So you're still struggling it. You don't see the present for the present. You only see the past in the present because you're still dwelling in this battle with the mother, this struggle with the mother. So if you transfer the past to the present and you're engaging in the struggle with people are shaking their heads. Why do you have these? Why do you think so well of me? Well, I have this compensation fantasy that you'll be the good mother that I needed in the past. Wow. I don't like that. I can't do that for you. Wait a minute, I did nothing wrong and you're so angry at me. What? Well, you're my traumatizing mother and I see her in you. I transferred her to you in the present. So I'm just using you as a stand-in for my mother in the past so I can see my mother in the past to you. And I'm going to see you as my mother in the past emotionally because I emotionally need to fight with the mother in the past. So you're just like a proxy for my mother in the past. So you're going to play the role of my mother in the past. So I'm going to continue my anger with the mother in the past. So you seem to want something from me. Are you going to pay by cash or credit? Oh, you're wanting something from me, are you? And you're angry. Oh my God. That example is a little extreme, a little ridiculous, but maybe a better example might be, somebody who maybe some bureaucratic thing. They got to ask you a lot of questions or something. You might get annoyed after a while. They're doing their job and all this. A slight annoyance or nuisance, but it's not meant to trigger up the rage with your mother. So the call center person asks you the usual questions or something, and you find yourself really overly enraged by this. You want to slam the phone or something. My God, I can't take all these dumb questions here. I just answered that already 3 times. Why that? Now, sometimes, fair enough, the person on the other end of the phone is being passive-aggressive. Sometimes they transfer the rejecting mother onto the caller, and they're expressing their anger to the caller by being passive-aggressive. Now, then that elicits your anger at the mother by them being passive-aggressive towards you. So you may have been the benign caller, and the call center agent guy, person, whatever, suddenly transfers the caller. Oh, you're calling me, you want something. You're my mother, wanted something from me. I'm gonna be passive-aggressive. I'm gonna play dumb. I'm not gonna hear you. Oh, excuse me, did you say this? Say that again. I just make you annoyed because they're angry at you like that. So sometimes the other end, it can be on the other end. So the person working at the call center, let's say, they got to be self-aware as well. That the caller called in. Oh, you're my mother, wanted something. I'm not going to cooperate. I'm going to make it difficult for you. I'm going to express my anger at you. So they're also transferring their frustrating mother to the caller in the present as well. So this is a huge topic, transference. You know, it may be that up to 60 threads, it may be that transference has the most quotes in it. I haven't done that, like the count like that, but it may be, it's up there. It's in the top 5 in terms of number of quotes in it. Okay, so did I get it across a little bit? We blur up our present interactions. Like what's appropriate for the reality of the present. Okay? Now it gets blurred up because we transfer the past to the present and react to the people in the past, using people in the present as stand-ins for people in the past, and we transfer the past to the present. So we have all these old buried emotions from the child in the past coming in the present as transfer. So how much belongs that's appropriate for the present, and how much belongs to the past? Now the more trauma it is, the more we transfer. The more trauma it is, the more we project. The more trauma it is, the more we're angry at the mother. Or the more trauma it is, the more we have wild compensation fantasy that somebody in the present can be the idealized good mother. So we even have exaggerated idealization and then exaggerated devaluation. See, if you get these two extremes like that, where sometimes somebody in the present, you think they're the world, you think they're a goddess or something, and suddenly they're a little demon like that. Well, that goddess was, you had the fantasy that someone can compensate for the missing mother. Then you're disillusioned. Oh, wait a minute, you're the mother that hurt me? Oh, and then you hate that person. Oh, you're a demon, goddess demon like that. Actually, one of the quotes, yeah, we have that quote coming up here. Let's see if I can jump to it here. Hold on a second, is it here? Is that it here? Oh, okay. Oh, I think we did it already. You know, we did it yesterday. Go to yesterday's quote. Wait, that's I'm reading 19 here. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, sorry. Oh, that quote I just read was 19. Well, I'm ahead of myself here. Today's 18, but what I read was 19. I got the two here. Okay, so what you just heard was a preview of 19. Well, there's a thought. Maybe I just make this 19, continue with 19, and just do 18 afterwards. It'll be out of order on the YouTube thing there. Okay, now let's just stick it in order. So what I just read was a preview for 19. This first quote, what I just did was a preview. So I'll redo this quote in the next video on 19. So let's go back to 18. 18, also on transfer. So the same topic. Transference contains. Same topic, yeah. Here we go. Transference contains. Oh, there's the swan. I think we can get a. No. Okay, when it goes in the water and swims, I'll see if I can get. I had a good shot of him in the first take of this video. I had him gliding down the water, swimming nicely. I caught it. We lost that. Yeah, we lost that part too. Yeah. Once in a while, he flaps his wings. It's kind of cool, yeah. Okay, so let's begin at this one here, 28:18. Transference contains an element of distortion to the extent that one misperceives aspects of a relationship in accordance with one's inner state of needs, desires, fears, attitudes, etc., defenses, etc. Thus, a transference reaction shaped by distortion, misperception, or unrealistic expectations. For example, somebody in the present reminds you of the mother. Now you have an unrealistic expectation that the person in the present who reminds you of the mother can be the good mother for the past. What an unrealistic expectation. To see the person you met in the person who reminds you of the mother And now to expect that that person in the present can invent a time machine for you, take you in the time machine, fly back to the past, and your friend, the one you liked in the present, morphs to the mother, you become the baby, and that person now provides the love that you needed. You get the proper wiring laid down, hop back in the time machine, come back to the present, morph to your respective places, and now you're loved. You got the love for the past. Unrealistic expectation. No time machines, no morphing machines. You can't change the past. That's a huge unrealistic expectation, right? Unrealistic expectations thereby constitutes an illusion. Oh yeah, this comes from a book called Illusion and Disillusion by Stanley Teitelbaum. Is that right? Stanley it's either Tay or Ty, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Sorry, I'm not pronouncing his name correctly. It's either Tay or Ty. I'm gonna guess it's Tay, Taitel, maybe Taitel and then Baum. Baum, sorry, Teitelbaum. Baum or Baum? B-A-U-M. Sorry, I'm not pronouncing it correctly. I found this book recently called Illusion and Disillusion. So we got some quotes from that book here. We posted the last one, and today's a continuation. Yeah, so today's a continuation of yesterday's quotes by the same author. Okay, so to some degree, transference occurs in all relationships. Okay, the therapy situation in particular exerts a strong pull toward the development of transference phenomena, and the exploration of these reactions is deemed to be central to the treatment process. So any kind of close two-person relationship, it's going to trigger the close two-person relationship with the baby and the mother. Like two people close in intimate situation, two people like that. You're in the little room there, or studio, or whatever. The two people are there. He's the therapist who's supposed to be knowledgeable, the doctor, and you're the one in pain who's in help. It kind of resembles child-parent, right? It kind of triggers up the past like that. So that setting can trigger up the past because it's analogous to it. Okay, so traditionally, shrinks have emphasized the repeating of earlier feelings, fears, needs, states as a central component of transference reactions. Yes, so the transference reactions is based on all those old fears, needs, etc. Frenzy. Oh no, that's Sanderfrank. No, sorry. This one's Fenichel. I get those guys mixed up sometimes. Fenichel, 1945. Otto Fenichel. We discussed Sander Frenzy recently. A very good quote by Frenzy and Otto Rank was covered recently. I checked that one out about repeating repetition component. Frenzy is the guy that gave us the phrase identification with the aggressor. Sander Frenzy from Hungary. A lot of great shrinks come from Hungary. Margaret Mahler, in particular, Sander Frenzy, and a couple of others. Bergler and Klein come from Austria. Karen Horney and others come from Germany. Fenichel, I'm not sure. Otto Rank, I'm not sure. Not important. Okay, let's not get bogged down with that. That's not important. Okay, anyways, one famous shrink describes the core of the analytic work as involving the analysis of, quote, the repetition of previously acquired attitudes towards the analyst. So the attitude you have towards the analyst, that's communicating the attitude that you had with the mother. For example, a good example is, let's say you meet somebody in the present that does remind you of the parent. The wiring you laid down with the parent flares up. Now, since that person reminds you of the mother, you're going to replay that hope, and this great hope fell. Then you're going to be angry at the person in the present for not changing your past, for not inventing a time machine. So the anger and the things you're saying about the person, and you betrayed me, you broke my heart, you're a liar, you deceived me, you misled me, and all those kinds of things you're saying, that's transference. That's how you felt towards the mother, but you didn't have words for it and you forgot it. You found somebody present to bring that up to your attention, how you felt with the past. In his definition of transference, quote, the client misunderstands the present in terms of the past. The client misunderstands the present in terms of the past. You're misunderstanding the present by using the past. And then, instead of remembering the past, which is what you're supposed to do, you use the present as an opportunity to remember the past. You're bringing up the past. You replay the past and the present to remember the past, to bring up the past, to get your story. He strives without recognizing the nature of his action to relive the past and to live it more satisfactorily than he did it in childhood. He transfers past attitudes to the present. So here's where there's a negative and a positive side to this transfers. The negative side of it is you replay the past to the present, really thinking you're still in the past, trying to get a better outcome, the loved outcome, the needed outcome. So you really expect that, and you don't want to remember it. You're just stubbornly trying to get that past needs met. That's sort of repetition compulsion, kind of gone awry like that. And you don't want to remember it. You just insist on replaying. No, I'm stubborn. I want to get those needs met. I don't want to remember it. I just want to still get it. That's a negative way of doing it. The positive way of repeating the past and the present is for you to observe it as a communication from your inferring mind. Now, the non-reporting brain, the unconscious, sometimes called the inferring mind. You make the inference, oh my God, this thing in the present is like a restaging of the past for me to know what happened in the past. So you say to the person in the present who disappointed you, again, it's a minor thing, but it brings up immense emotions. Somebody in the present doesn't want to marry you or whatever, and it brings up wild emotions in the past. Okay, that's their right and all that, of course. But those strong, angry words you're saying towards the person in the present, that's your real feelings towards the mother. And you chose that person to bring that up. That's the positive attention, to get your story. To remember, get your story. When you get your story and you remember, you lay the ghost to rest, you love life in the present, you stop repeating. When you don't know the story, when you don't remember, you repeat and you repeat and you get until you get the message. Oh my God, this is like a part of me trying to communicate to me. Like, oh my God, this is like a message from me to me, and I've ignored this message. Oh my God, now let's get the message. You mean to tell me this is like the past? Like this is what happened in the past, but I forgot and I just recreated to know the past? You gotta be kidding me. That's what Ginger Rogers said in the film Lady in the Dark. That scene with the shrink. Ginger Rogers, Lady in the Dark, is a bit like that. The client revives and re-experiences the same feelings toward the analyst as he did toward a significant past figure. Obviously the parent, right? Sometimes it's an uncle or a sibling or a grandparent or something. Okay, on the other hand, there's this like compensation fantasy wish. A transference wish involves the fantasy that the therapist will fulfill certain needs that were unmet in the past. It contains a yearning for a second chance to get those needs met. For example, that the analyst will, quote, will be there for me as an all-loving, unconditional presence in a way that my mother wasn't or couldn't be. So that's like you're still trying to get this compensation, a wishful fantasy that the person in the present, the friend in the present, therapist in the present, or somebody important in the present can be that all reliable, all trusting, all loving, all unconditional presence for you the way your parent was. Not gonna happen. No way. They've got a life. They got a life to live. Even the shrink has a life to live. The shrink's only there to help you find your story. The shrink's just teaching you how to be a detective. He's teaching you how to fish. He's not giving you the fish. He's teaching you how to fish. Again, the metaphor in the unconscious, sometimes the ocean, fishes are in the water. You bring up a fish up, like a fisher person. That's kind of like bringing some unconscious material, unconscious contents that you didn't know. It's hidden dark under the water. So you bring it up like that. So he's teaching you how to bring it up. Psychoanalysis is not a magic breast. It's not magic words, magic milk, magic So like the shrink's words, is it like mother's magic milk, like magic words milk, mother milk? Like it's not like that. You got to be a detective, a psychological detective, emotional detective. Yeah, today's a bit of a holiday here. I just learned it. So I think there's a fewer guests here today. It's one of these half holidays. Half of the things are closed, half of the things are open, I think. Okay, that's the compensation wish fantasy. So either you idolize the person and make up how amazing they are, thinking they could be the perfect parent for the past, or you transfer your anger at your mother and now you devalue the present. So there's this idealization, devaluating thing. Okay, when the breast mother, so the first mother for the baby is called the breast mother. Baby doesn't see the mother like as a full person with feelings and needs as a person. The baby's a person, and the baby's seen as a little human being, and mother's seen as a human being. You don't get, in the beginning, the baby's a little God, and everything's for him, about him, part of him, serves him. The baby's mainly related to the breast mother. For example, if the baby's angry at the breast mother and he bites the nipple, he doesn't register or understand that the mother, the person, might be in pain. He's not there yet. Sound familiar with narcissism? If somebody is rude to somebody, they have no registration of the feelings of other people. Lack of empathy, they didn't develop that place yet. Okay, when the breast mother does not fulfill the normal expectations and needs of the child, that is when there is a significant degree of misattunement, malattunement. Mother's doing it wrong. The connection's not there. Mother doesn't understand the baby. Say, what do you want, baby? Oh, baby, you're angry at me. Are you my mother? You're complaining to me? Mother, some mothers transfer, a negative transfers their abusive mother onto the baby. Oh yeah, baby. But they don't think the baby. They think mother. Oh yeah, mother. Into the baby. Oh yeah, baby. Thinking mother. Oh yeah, mother, baby. You're angry at me. Now I'm going to fight with you now. Poor baby saying, hold the phone here, mother. I'm not your mother. Mother's transferring her past to the present. Again with the transference. Some mothers transfer their abusive mother onto the baby and think the baby who's disappointed by mother's misattunement mistranslates that. Oh, you're angry at me, baby? You're my mother who is angry at me and hates me? Baby, you hate me? Mother, you hate me? Baby, you hate baby / mother, you hate me? Oh yeah, now I'm going to fight with you now because now I'm older. Now I got more resource. I'm in the powerful position. I'm going to fight with you, mother. Because when the mother was a baby, she was powerless. Now she's older. Now she's got more power. She thinks she's going to have a better chance to control her mother. So she's going to control the baby. Baby can't say, mother, hold the phone here. Why are you so controlling and demanding, possessive? I'm not your mother. Well, I'm not your breast mother from back in the nursery. I'm your baby who needs a mother. I can't. I'm not your abusive mother back. Some mothers do this. Oh, cunning tale. It's called Oh, Cunning Tale. Okay? Emily Dickinson. Baby had a great hope for mother's love. It fell. You heard no noise. The wreckage, the trauma, the freezing Snow White in a coma was within. Oh, cunning tale. Oh, cunning tale. Mother transference, that's a cunning tale, confusing tale. Mother using the baby in some way or another. Maybe the mother uses the baby as a proxy of her when she was a baby. Sees the baby crying for love as her crying for love back in the nursery. The mother identifies with the aggressor, so she's going to be the mother who says no to herself, sees the baby as no to her. This mother seeing herself as a baby crying for love, she's the mother who says no to needs. Oh, me? You're me over there, baby. I'm the mother who says no. I'm going to say no to you. Oh, cunning tale. Or mother used the baby to comfort her. Oh, cunning tale. Or the mother thinks the baby is her mother who hurt her and she's fighting with her mother. The oh, cunning tale. That let no witness in. That's the unthought known, the scarecrow. The scarecrow doesn't have a brain. We don't know what happened. Something happened. We don't know it. It's a scarecrow. And with trauma like that, we lose the heart. Tin Man. The truth being like that, we feel disembodied, the lion like that. And Dorothy's part of the psyche or the system is trying to line things up. Or we can say, be like Dorothy, and recognize that with trauma we feel disembodied, the lion. not loving life, the Tin Man. Well, first things first, give the scarecrow a brain. Give the scarecrow a brain. First things first, the scarecrow, that we can do. The other stuff happens spontaneously in the healing. Nature does the rest, but what we can do is give the scarecrow a brain. These 10,000 quotes are an attempt to give the scarecrow a brain. Well, and then the rest happens when it happens, kind of thing. But there's encouragement in the process. You're building a nest and an egg can appear. You're building a catcher's mitt so you can catch the ball coming down. Imagine in Major League Baseball, the catcher behind home plate. He's got a speedball barreling down at 100 miles an hour. He's got to catch that speedball. He's not going to do it with his bare hands, right? He might try, he'll drop it. No, you need the catcher's mitt. So this is the catcher's mitt. This is the catcher's mitt. What is that? Yeah, I'm not getting the fan for some reason. Let me do another adjustment. I'm baking here already. What is that? I think the wind is turned on me here. I have this strange dilemma. I gotta get the fan to me, but not have the wind muffle the speaker, because you hear the muffling and you don't hear me speaking. I think I got it right. Are you hearing the muffling sound of the wind over the speaker? Over the mic, I mean. Let's try this. How about now? Is it better now? Okay, let's yeah, okay, let's just go on here. Where are we here? Okay, when the breast mother does not fulfill the normal expectations and needs of the baby, that is when there is a significant degree of misattunement, emotional neglect, mother's abuse. Many mothers are abusing their babies. Can you believe it? Oh, cunning tale. Why are so many mothers abusing their babies? They even abuse their babies when they're inside the womb with their drinking and smoking. That's the child abuse in the uterus. Birth trauma. Oh, well, they got to do everything they can to prevent it. So that's part of their job, to give their baby a natural birth if they can, or at least to compensate by giving a secure attachment style to heal the trauma if there is birth trauma. But between birth and 4 to 5 months, if the baby's not meeting the baby's needs, she's abusing the baby. Maybe she rough handles the baby. Maybe she has this resentment or something. Some mothers resent the idea that they're supposed to give love when they never received it themselves and are angry by it. And some mothers want to show up their mother. Hey world, I'm going to show you I'm angry with my mother. I want to tell you all what my mother did to me. You see my baby here? I'm going to treat my baby the way my mother treated me. That's my telling you how my mother treated me. Some mothers do this thing. So there's a whole long list of the many ways mothers are being misattuned and malattuned to the baby's needs. And then they create rationalizations. They create excuses. See, when they do that and you call it out, they create excuses. Like that one woman didn't want to breastfeed. The father said, why aren't you breastfeeding our baby here? She made an excuse. Oh, the powder stuff's fine. You see, I want to go to the office, and I discovered with my new appearance, I can have power over the fellows at the office. I can control them. I can make them do what I want. They're all gaga when they see me. I have power now. I can enhance my career. I can get promotions. So she makes it a rationalization. The poor husband said, forget all that. Your baby needs a mother here. No, the powder stuff, just give him the powder stuff. Okay, that's abuse. That's child abuse, that kind of. So she creates rationalizations to cloak over or camouflage the abuse that's going on underneath. Shall I compare thee to an onion? Oh, people are coming in. Oh yeah, it's getting later here. Let's see. What's up? 4:37. When the breast mother. Okay, we did that already. Ultimately, insofar as the world is perceived as an unfriendly or so now that okay. So when there's abuse, the child thinks. So if anybody has these slogans, the world's not a friendly place, okay, that's a carryover of the mother. If the mother abused the baby, they may grow up with the slogan, yeah, the world's not a friendly place. That's transference. That's code. When people say that stuff, it's code that they were abused by the mother. Oh, okay. The foundation for positive self-esteem has not been fortified, and basic trust is undeveloped. Under these conditions, a personality formation is likely to evolve in which narcissistic, depressive, avoidant, paranoid features are prominent. Okay, that's kind of okay, let's just move on then. That third one is maybe not too strong of a pull. The first two I like. The first two are okay. The third one's a little weaker. Let's do the fourth one here about denial. Denial. The Nile is not a river in Egypt. Old joke, right? I think that's the first joke about psychology I ever heard personally. Denial is not a river in Egypt. What? Denial? Denial? Denial. Denial. We deny it. That's a defense mechanism. Something so painful, deny it. No, it didn't happen. No, my mother's wonderful. She didn't hurt me. Denial. Repression. Denial. Denial is a defense mechanism that involves a refusal to believe or accept a painful or unwanted reality. A defense in which the individual tunes out some aspect of reality that is objectively evident in order to circumvent the unpleasant implications and emotions incumbent upon dealing with the truth. It's an unconscious and sometimes conscious defensive reaction to unacceptable events in the external world. Through denial, the individual attempts to alter reality. You're going to change reality? Really? Your mother didn't love you, but you're going to say you can put her on a pedestal? You're denying reality here. Denial has been differentiated from avoidance, a related defense that emanates primarily on a conscious level. In avoidance, there is usually a determined effort not to deal with the painful event, but the existence of the event is not denied. Okay, so if you're just avoiding it, you're aware of it. You're not denying it. You admit it, but you just avoid it. Denial is, no, I changed reality, it didn't happen. You deny it. Okay, next one. People's unconscious beliefs about themselves and their world, though acquired in the past, color their current experiences. They may see the present in terms of the past, even when the past is clearly not, even when the present is vividly and clearly and dramatically not the past. Yeah, so clearly, that's the emphasize it here. The present is clearly and obviously and dramatically not the past. Nevertheless, you're reacting as if it's still the past. Like, come on, right? Like the guy in the nursing home. He's 80, he's in the nursing home. He's acting like he's in the nursery? That's the transference. But it's clearly and dramatically what that newcomer who's bathing you or something, that person, you think that's your mother? Does she look like your mother? Doesn't even look like your mother. But you're acting to her toward like she's like your mother? That's transference. That means you're enraged. In other words, that guy in the nursing home, if he's enraged at the nice lady who's giving him a bath and all this or something, and she doesn't do it perfectly, he wanted her like perfect, because mother never did it perfect. So every slight little thing wrong here. Flake. Some mothers rough handle. Some mothers are rude and crude when they clean their babies and use the towel and all this. Some others are angry and they're resentful. They do it in a rush. And they don't want to do it, so they do it in a rush. So they're getting 80 years later, 8 decades later, they're getting bathed or something. And it's triggered of what the mother did. That's called transference. So if the 80-year-old guy is enraged like this, But in reality, she did a pretty good job. It wasn't, but it doesn't matter. The slightest little thing can trigger him and set him off, so to speak. That's called transference. That means that's meant for him to know. He's still enraged at his mother, that he didn't get her story. He didn't find out why she abused him. She didn't get her story. So that means she couldn't forgive her. That means it's still in the past. We only heal when we get our mother's story and our father's story, etc. The next two. Okay, the next two. Okay, I haven't read this novel, nor have I seen the film based on the novel, but a lot of shrinks talk about it. A lot of people talk about it. Apparently it was a big sensation in 1969, 1970. Some famous author came up with a book called Courtney's Complaint. Some guy was complaining all the time, basically. And and it got banned, and schools, it got prohibited and blocked. It was a banned book for in many places. Even today, it's banned in many places. Yes, it's kind of crude and perverted a little bit. I haven't read it, but from what people are saying about it, it's this petty infantile trauma. The perversions are in there, and things you don't really talk about. So I think I can understand why it got banned. At the same time, there's a lot of psychology in it, and if I'm not mistaken, I think what the whole novel is, it's one giant monologue of a guy, of a traumatized man. The whole novel is a monologue to a shrink in the room in front of him, and we don't even hear the shrink. Like, there's no feedback, because he's just engaged in this one long monologue. We only hear the shrink at the very end. It's a joke on Mr. Young. So at the end of the novel, so the guy went on his long rant, complained. Courtney, the guy's name was Courtney, he had a long complaint. He complained about everything under the sun. This was no good, and this was no good, sarcastic this, sarcastic this. Just a one long, witty, maybe sometimes funny, witty, I guess. Sometimes insightful, I guess. But it was just one long complaint. And finally, he paused and finished, and the shrink said, "Now can we begin?" Like, now do you realize? Did you blow off steam now? Now can we begin the analytic process? Because you just have to blow off steam first. So he didn't do any healing; he was just blowing off steam and all this. I think that's the gist of it. But there's a very good, so I only have two quotes from it. And in it, the character, Courtney, written by the novelist and all this, describes splitting very well, very clearly. He said that he was so abused by his mother that, look at that. Oh, this just fell down. Just went kaplunk. This little thing here. I don't even know what this is. What is this? I'm not even sure what this is. Yeah, I'm a little embarrassed. I should know what this is, right? It's oh my God, I can't make it out. It's too young. It's too. Is it supposed to be a coconut? Not a mango, that's for sure. I'm not sure what this is. There's no fruity smell or anything. I can't tell what it is. Yeah, I'll find out what it is. Yeah, it got me curious here. It just dropped as I was speaking right here. It wouldn't have hurt. It wouldn't have hurt if it fell. If it fell on my head or something. It's pretty minor like that. Yes, I'm not going to talk too much about this novel because I don't know it. And they don't even have it on YouTube. They blocked it or something. There's a few little clips of it. And when you see the clips on it, oh my God, seriously? This infantile, juvenile. We don't really cover that area of perversions, no. We don't really cover that kind of stuff. And the book seems to be filled with that kind of inability to see people as humans, like you're objectifying things, like you're so detached from the human area. Like, I don't know. Anyways, but he did have a good quote about splitting. Okay, Portney's words reflect his experience of living in an impersonal, paranoid environment. And the mother was hysterical and paranoid and all this, apparently. Quote, what was it? What was it with her? What? That she was able to make me believe myself to be so special and a prince and a unicorn, a genius, brilliant, like nobody has ever been brilliant and beautiful before, and all of the history, a savior, perfection on the one hand, yet on the other hand, okay, I feel like, okay, fill in the blank, little, fill in the blank, again, little, fill in the blank, okay, selfish, thoughtless, like it was like the opposite. Okay, he felt shamed, he felt defective, he felt, I don't want to repeat it. If you want to see this, the quotes below. So he felt icky and shamed and all this, but he believed that he was so special and a gift to God. Like he thought he was so special and chosen and the best of the best. Like that's splitting. So when the baby's traumatized, he feels like that icky stuff mentioned there. It feels no good. Let's just keep it simple. He feels no good. He feels shamed, defective, unlovable, defective, messy, and so on. He feels icky and all that. He'll say others are that, to not feel it, projection, transference. He doesn't want to know it, so he projects and says others are those things. He feels it. His belief that others are that, yeah, that's code that he's projecting how he feels about himself, projection. So when you project your soul, your wounded soul like that, it's disturbed and twisted, but it's still his soul. What has he got left? When a baby's traumatized, what has he got left? If he's got to reject his soul, what has he got left? And then project the soul onto others and shame others the way his mother shamed him. What has he got left? Well, he regresses to the once upon a time fantasy that in the uterus, he was on the throne. He was a little king, little god, little special, little chosen, special. Everything's for him, center of the universe. Number one, little king, little god. He feels he's so, you can go on and on like this. So he thinks like that about himself. But on some level, he knows, he feels the opposite. But I guess to the credit of the novel, he didn't say others are that, others are no good, others are sub this and sub that, and no good this and no good that. He said, I feel like that. And my mother did this to me. What is it about my mother that made this happen in me? What is it about my mother that caused this in me to think I'm so special, but really I feel so devalued? But the credit is he's holding the two for himself. Because a lot of people just say, oh, I'm special and you're no good. I'm okay, you're not okay. He says, well, I have the fantasy I'm okay, but I feel not okay. And he's holding the two himself. That's a little credit on his end for this. So again, when there's trauma, the person takes refuge in that archaic, primitive, once upon a time, imagining that in the uterus he was a little god, special, wow, like he's the whole universe. Is he chosen, like special, like is he a little god like this? Or did a bigger power select him to be one with this bigger power? Is he special, chosen like this? So he feels immensely important, and everything takes care of him, everything serves him, everything's for him. No desire, no problem, no upsets. His needs are automatically met. No disruption, unconditional fulfillment. Okay, omnipotence of thought. unconditional, hallucinatory omnipotence. He's a little god, little king, little special. Like, wow. So he reverts to this about himself. It's a huge irony because the baby was never a little god or a king, but he'll take that false belief. And by the way, that belief is addictive. It's addictive. The baby wasn't addicted, but when the baby in the uterus was one with the mother, it was a blissful thing. But he wasn't addicted. It's just a natural growing out phase. But when there's trauma and you go back to it and pick it up, it's addictive. That's why narcissism is named after that little white flower that gives people hallucinations and addictions like this. So again, the psychology called narcissism is named after that little white flower called the narcissus flower. And the Greeks said, yeah, if you prepare it a certain way, I don't know the story, I'm not interested, but apparently that flower is named after the narcotic, which gives people illusions. So they named that psychology after that flower, because the baby's in this dreamy, solipsistic center of the universe, little god in his own universe. He thinks like he's the catwalk model. I think a good example is those models on the catwalk. They walk on the catwalk, they look up in the air, they got this air of self-sufficient superiority. I don't need anybody. I'm self-sufficient. I have all my needs met by myself. I'm self-sufficient, superior. I'm a little god. I can strut on the catwalk thing, and I don't need anybody. I don't need you. They're cold, aloof. They don't need anybody because they can do it all for themselves. Who needs you? I can do it myself. So they're trying to tap into this attitude that they had once upon a time in the uterus, where they had that kind of thing. Now, of course, the baby wasn't like that, but when you go back to that, you're trying to evoke that by that behavior, I guess. So the arrogance is an attempt to forcefully recreate that kingdom place. But the baby was never a little king, so maybe that's why. It's a compensation. If you feel like a god, then you don't feel the opposite. That's what the first one is. Look at the next one here. This one's good. Yeah, okay. Apparently, in the guy's long rant, in his monologue, he was telling about some girl he met somewhere. Okay, porny, cynical, and hostile humor. So he had a very hostile, negative humor. You see, a lot of this complaints is a dispersal of the complaint with the mother. That guy has an immense complaint with the mother. Even on the clip on YouTube, you can see the mother was possessive and didn't care about boundaries. And it seemed like she was creating this in him. Like, it seemed like from the clip, the mother wanted him to be like an extension of her. He wanted him to be a nasty character. She wanted that because the mother used the son as a proxy to express her anger. So she made him angry and naughty because that's how she felt. It seemed like she was trying to create that, and that's what the first quote was about. What is it about her that made me like this? Why was she doing this? Well, she's angry, and she's looking for a proxy to express her anger for. So the son is a narcissistic extension of the mother's anger. So the mother used the son as a proxy for her to play her anger. So they feel one like that. So she maintains the oneness with her abuse. When the mother abuses the baby, they're still like one like that. In the oneness of it all, she makes the child angry, and then if they're one, then when the child's angry, the mother feels he's expressing her anger. That's that area there. Anyways, back to the second one. So he goes on, and he talks about dating some girl or something. Yeah, okay, and then so, and the girl he's dating says to him, quote, the way, gee, Porny, the way you disapprove of your life, why do you do that? It is of no value for a man to disapprove of his life the way you do. You seem to take some pleasure, some pride in making yourself the butt of your own particular sense of humor. So he had a lot of self-deprecating humor, of course, deprecating towards others, deprecating towards himself. I don't believe you really want to be healthy or get better. Everything you say is somehow always twisted, some way or another, to come out, quote, funny. Okay, Schadenfreude. See, Schadenfreude is, if he's the abusive mother who shames himself, he gets the bliss of being one with the mother. That's Schadenfreude. See, when the mother abused the baby, she got some pleasure, some pain relief called Shatterfoot. He becomes her, treats himself that way and others that way. He gets the reunion of the blissful, narcissistic white flower. So he gets a little pleasure. So he's addicted. He's addicted to his hate. He's addicted to his cynicism. He's addicted to his misery as well. All day long, the same thing. In some little way or another, everything is ironical or self-deprecating, unquote. Okay, now here's the author here. Portney's, unquote, okay, next part. Portney's repetitive construction of his emotional sadomasochistic relational paradigm. Sadomasochism. So emotional sadomasochism. The baby's masochistic. He's going to end up with what's called emotional masochism. He's got the pleasure of connecting with the mother, but to accept that pleasure with the mother, he's got to accept the abuse with the mother. There's the pain with the mother. So to get the pleasure of the connection with the mother, it's embedded in that he's abused by the mother. So Berger calls that the pleasure and displeasure phenomena or principle. He calls it psychic masochism. He takes it in a different direction. But just in general terms, the child ends up as an emotional masochist. To feel any kind of connection to the mother, the condition is he's got to treat himself negatively the way his mother treated himself negatively, because he's the mother who abused him. So he abuses himself, so to speak, or abuses others. You know, even if he abuses others, he's still abusing himself. Sometimes he abuses others to distract him how he's abusing himself, the way his mother abused him. Okay, so that's so emotional sadism, shall I compare these to onion, is a camouflage of the underlying emotional masochism. So his relationships are an emotional sadomasochism. Either he is the sadist, the emotional sadist, saying crude things about others who are proxies for his emotional masochism, or he accepts his masochism and says it about himself. So he does both, it seems. He can accept himself as the victim or see others playing him as a victim by his mother. And he's the mother who does the victimizing. Is both a means of protecting himself from the early traumas of impingement. Safeguarding his nascent true self and a way of maintaining a connectedness and a sense of self in the world. So despite how dysfunctional this is still some desperate measure by the baby to somehow guard his soul. Okay, he thinks by doing this he can protect Snow White in the coma in the glass box. He's protecting his Snow White by doing this. Be loyal to the mother, act like the mother. That's his attempt to keep his soul, it's frozen, but he's protecting his frozen soul somehow. So anybody who's dysfunctional, they're loyal to the mother, protecting the mother, trying to, their positive intention, the positive intention of all dysfunction is to save the mother, protect the mother, so that you can finally get a loving mother to have your soul and have yourself. So somebody whining like this guy, he's loyal to the mother. His complaint towards the mother, he disperses onto the world. Again, the breast mother was the world for the baby. He transfers the breast mother world onto the whole actual world and hates the whole world the way he hates his mother. That's his connection to the mother. Now, if he has a connection to the mother, he still has hope that one day he'll get his soul. So he's protecting his soul by having a loyalty to the mother. You see? That's sort of the idea. So the positive intention of dysfunction, or homotraumicus, by the way. This is not just for him. This is not just a special case. We all have some kind of neurotic structure patterns, anxiety or whatever. And then on the more perverse stuff, that just means there's more trauma. The trauma was more severe, the mother was more angry, there was more abuse. That's all it is. The stingers and the clingers. If somebody has negative humor constantly, they're traumatized prior to 18 months. If the humor is a little more playful and not too hurtful like that, maybe a little helpful sometimes, that's trauma post 18 months because you want everyone to be better off, you're trying to heal. Now even the stingers, their dark humor is still a coded attempt to communicate that their mother abused them. So when a stinger says, oh, they're no good, and they're this, they're that, they're trying to say that's how they felt by what the mother did to them. It's still trying to get their story. They're still trying to get the story. It's just more layered like that. The labyrinth is more. Yeah, these two come from a guy named Neuwirth. Is that right? Joseph Neuwirth. I just want to do this in small doses. I didn't read the novel. Apparently, it's a bestseller. It's listed in somebody put it in the top 100 novels of all time or something. See, a lot of his complaint, not just him, but just we don't have a thread in this area. But when a person is afraid of affection and of feelings and tenderness, there's this. Then the perversions come out that they talk about in the book. The fetishes and I don't want to repeat it. I don't feel motivated to read the book, even though there may be a few little witty insights or something. I don't really want to. It's probably not worth it. I'd rather get the insights from regular shrinks. This author made it sensational. He's considered the first one to kind of like openly display his perversions or something. That's why it was banned all over the place. That was back in '69. Now it's just one big bore. Seriously, it's basically juvenile, like young teenager boys confused, traumatized. How do they get a woman's attention or something? See, if a boy's so abused by his mother, they're terrified of women. So how do you deal with that? So they're going to objectify women now, thingify women. See, now you're getting to the perversional area, the fetish area. So that's what this novel seems to be about. So I think maybe, my guess is the title of the book is complaint. It's his mother, complaint against the mother. And the first quote is a clue to it. That's why I'm saying that. So maybe for the future, maybe I'll follow this up on the future. This is my first sort of attempt to. I think there may be one other quote about this novel, like from way a long time ago. I don't remember, to tell you the truth. Okay, so we did it. So that's 2818. Yeah, so we did 2818. These ones here. Okay, my hope is. So what do we do here? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, only 7, right? What is that? 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, okay. Usually there's 10 quotes at least. This time there's only 7. I like the first two. Actually, this is a 6th one. Actually, these two porny ones are not bad. I think that his girlfriend saying all this about him is kind of helpful, I think. She's just trying to help him. She's just trying to make it. She's just maybe trying to help the poor guy. What is it with you? You take pride in this. You twist everything in a negative way. You're not healing. You're not getting better if you do this. You're maintaining the trauma bond with the mother because you become the traumatizing mother who traumatizes yourself and others, and you flip and see others as the mother, and you're angry at the mother. So you act like the mother and you're angry. So here's the question. Here's the question posed earlier. In trauma like this, okay, so Portney seems to have identified with their mother. He's like an extension of her. If he's her, for his attachment, how does he simultaneously be loyal to her, have the mother, have a connection, have some hope to one day get her love, imitate her, but fight with her? Like, whoa, he's got to be loyal to her, he's got to save her, and he's got to fight with her. How does he do both? So, the world will be innocent. That's him being innocent. So he'll treat the world the way his mother treated him. That's the loyalty part. Hocus pocus, auto-hypnosis, double focus, flip-flop. He'll morph or shapeshift the world in his fantasy. Now, the world who played his innocence is now the abusive mother. He'll play himself and fight with the mother. So first the world was his innocence, which he shamed. Then he flips it simultaneously, plays himself and sees the world as the abusive mother and fights with the world. You get it? So he hates the world the way his mother hated him, and now he's angry at the world the way he's angry at his mother. So that's all the complaints going on. So he's complaining on either end. He's just constantly complaining, this guy. Now to get away with it, maybe he finds some funny things to say it in the process, I guess, I don't know. But the author found some funny ways by writing a novel. So he managed to get out his complaint by making a novel in the form of a monologue. And in the safety of the monologue, maybe he felt safe and he can say some funny things, some insightful things. So there may be some insightful things. Now, I don't know if the insightful things outweigh the perversion of the novel, if the benefits outweigh the emotional contagion or the disturbance of it all. I don't know if it's worth it. See, I don't read negative authors if there may... I tend to focus on authors that tend to be more educational or more helpful, and I'll tolerate a little bit of their cynicism, a little bit of their pain, a little bit, right? But if they're way too negative, that's not worth it. I forget it. That's why there's no translation of Freud in our collection. I think the translation is perverted and disturbed. So we don't even have any Freud quotes. Ironically, right? Oh, here we go. All right. We're getting him in. Let's see. Yeah, there's a nice close-up of him. All right, yeah. Hey, Swan. Too bad I didn't have any crackers for him or something. You know, one time he jumped up to try to grab the phone, the funny guy. All right. Let's see, how are we doing here with the time? Oh, let's check the battery again. Oh my God, now this time the battery's holding up. Yeah, now it's working. I had to recycle around and crash and reboot, then it worked, right? 5:10, yeah, it's a short video today. This is actually more like a 3-hour video, but the first hour and a half got lost, right? So that's too bad about that. But that's okay. Today, this retake is okay. It's partly okay. A lot's missing. A lot of the bread and butter of the basic points are missing. But I feel like we got the quotes in, so I have to tolerate my ambivalence that some videos are going to be more inspiring than others, I think. Okay, so in the next video, we'll do 2819. We did a preview of the first one, which is a good one, I think, by Herbert Streen. We'll do more quotes by Mr. Streen. Sort of a new author for me. I don't know him too well, but he's got a few books out there. Yeah. One about anxious attachment. We got one from Karen Horney about the Peer Gynt story from Ibsen. Yeah, Peer Gynt. Oh my God, yeah, I'll have my first real full quote by Freud's daughter, Anna Freud, the first quote of hers. Now, I don't know if it's translated or she wrote it in English. I didn't even look into it. But it's not a bad quote, so I thought, let's just try. Let's just put one here for now. And a few little one-liners. So in the next video, we'll be posting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 good quotes coming up. You know, the conclusion is this. We want to be able to synthesize our insights. We want to integrate and own these insights. We want to make it a part of us, so to speak. And then we're able to kind of, work and love life more fully. Okay, in the next video, this issue about symbiosis, we'll talk about that. Oh yeah, this issue about remaining a psychological child. When the client's childish admiration of the therapist is not viewed as a resistance, then the client will never achieve much autonomy or self-esteem. He will remain a psychological child tied to the parent. So it's a resistance. If the client, if somebody admires somebody, like ridiculously over the top admires them, that's a resistance to admitting the truth that you didn't get mother's love. This over-idealization is a defense or a resistance to know the truth. So if you're doing that, you're still a psychological child tied to the mother, wanting the good mother instead. It's still a mother issue. It's still a mother complex. That's a good phrase, psychological child. And it works the other way too. The cynic, Mr. Portney there, he's a psychological infant, really. He's a psychological baby, really. This excessive, bitter, angry, oral kind of complaints, all this non-stop complaints like this. It's sort of, we could say it's a psychological child, psychological infant, psychological baby. This bitter, biting sarcasm. It's biting the breast. It's still, come on, mother, I'm angry at you. Let's update that one. Okay, yeah, it's sort of in that area there. Okay, I'll just save this for tomorrow. I think this Anna Freud one is not bad, yeah. Karen Horney, yeah, that's a good one, about the Ibsen story. Yeah, we have one song on our soundtrack. About the Ibsen story, Peer Gynt, right? So Elisabeth Gruner, a German opera singer, does my favorite version of Solveig's song. So what Echo was for Narcissus, Solveig was for Peer Gynt. A similar kind of stories. The difference is Peer Gynt's an evolution. In narcissism, that story's about never admitting the soul. That's why Echo became a statue. Okay, the soul became a statue. In the Peer Gynt story, Solveig is kind of floating around like that. And at the end of the story, Peer Gynt said, "Oh my God, do I have a soul? Where's my soul? Hey Solveig, you're my soul. Where have you been?" Solveig says, "Are you kidding me? I'm your soul. You've been ignoring me." Oh my God. He's an old man now. That's the end of the story. Is he going to change his ways? We don't know. So that's a little evolution. At least he became aware that he had a soul. Narcissus never became aware of it. He was addicted to the greed and the hate and the envy and playing infantile God and all this. He was addicted to this stuff. All the survival slogans, my greedy, your greed, envy, and so on. These Peer Gynt was the same like Narcissus, selfish, greedy, and all this. Some say he was, exploitative and ambitious, lack of empathy, lack of feelings, very extremely selfish, like narcissism. But the difference with Peer Gynt was at the end of the play, at the end of the story, he questioned it. He said, "Wait a minute, what's going on here? My whole life has been this search for this." Karen Horney calls it the search for glory. Now, when she says that word, search for glory, she means it in the way the baby is searching for the good breast. That's the glory. So he's searching for glory the way status and fame and prestige can be the good breast for the nursery. That kind of glory, meaning like that. So he was searching for that kind of infantile glory through symbols of the breast. He never got it. At the end of life, he said, "Oh my God, I've been searching and searching." So enter Janov. It's the death of unreal hope. That's the birth of new life. So the question mark on Peer Gynt was, at the end of the story, is it that pregnant virgin moment? Is it that moment when we give up the old and get in touch with the rebirth of our soul? That's the, okay, we had our soul, we lost it, we want to get it back. The rebirth motif. The pregnant virgin, again, pregnant virgin motif, it's a motif. It's a myth and fairy tale, religious story motif. It just means when you give up the relentless, unreal hope that something in the present can be the good mother in the past, when you recognize that and you give that up and you accept the delusionment of this, that it was an illusion, and you're disillusioned and you're sad about it, but it's a relief at the same time, because now, okay, now I don't have to waste my time chasing these phantom breast images. I can get in touch with my lost self and return and get back to myself and work towards re-experiencing my authentic self and getting self-activating my real self and moving towards being reunited with myself. That's called self-reparenting, or adopting your exiled, orphan, exiled inner child of the past, which you abandoned. Now you want to adopt yourself, like adopt your soul, like that. In one self-help story, the soul said to the person, well, here I am, what are you going to do with me? Well, I'm going to adopt you. You're going to adopt me, really? Well, that soul is him, right? So you adopt yourself, self-reparent, same idea. But then that's the return of your soul, right? We had a soul, we lost it, want to get it back. Okay, Miss Core got pulled down. Okay, Demeter brought her back. Miss Core became Persephone. So Persephone is the return of the soul. Joy and sadness came back to the console. Odysseus got back to his soul castle called Ithaca, reunited with Penelope. He got back home. Ithaca was his soul castle, his psychic house called the soul castle, his embodiment, his sense of self. He got back his sense of self called Ithaca, and then his feelings came back, Penelope. So he got back home. 20-year journey, a lot of temptations, a lot of memories of his mother saying, don't bother. He said, no, mother, I want to find myself. And the golden ball came back to the princess and the frog prince. Frog became the prince. The golden ball came back. Now in John, we got the key and released it. Got back the soul. So that's the journey. That's the hero's journey in midlife, the second journey in midlife. We had an authentic self. It got frozen in like Snow White, in a coma in a box, glass box. The moment you realize that, that's the pregnant virgin, the potential of the new life coming back to you. The pregnant virgin, now you're going to get the return of your soul. So we had our soul, we lost it, want to get it back. That's all it means. Myths, fairy tales are filled with this motif. Now you want to impress people, take some of these motifs and you can invent a religion. And then you can draw people in, but then control the peoples to prevent healing. So you can actually use healing stories and twist it to prevent healing. That's called religion. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Yeah. 2118 starts us off. No, sorry. 1203 is the quote that starts us off on religion. Now, again, specifically only when religion is being used as a tool or an adjunct to the pillage and the plunder. Again, another symptom of trauma when we became home of trauma, because 10,000 years ago, 27, what is it, 27? Was it 2725, part 3 of 3 to 7.5 hour video. It takes me 7.5 hours to run through the 48 symptoms of homo trauma. Because what are the symptoms of homo trauma? Because is this transition from village to pillage, global village to global pillage that began 10,000 years ago. And then to prevent healing, to stop healing, to keep the pillaging, we invented religion as a tool to maintain the traumatized mind, which repeats what had happened to the child. So babies were removed from the mother that traumatized them, identify with the aggressor. That whole area. It takes 7.5 hours to run through it. I can't do it in 1 minute. And now it's cooling up a bit finally. Between the breeze and the fan, I finally calmed down a bit. That's too bad about the missing first hour and a half. It was a good first hour and a half. I got off to a good start. I was speaking quickly. I was speaking a little more smoothly. I was thinking, oh, I'm getting into the flow here. I was getting into it. I thought, okay, we're getting somewhere here. And then just my whole phone just like suddenly blackout, my whole phone. No warning, no battery running out, nothing like that. It just overheated and it shut down, like a panic, it shut down. My phone freaked out. It's too hot, it got to shut down. So it protected itself, but I lost the video in the process. It's too bad my video didn't have the option to save the video before that happened, right? I've got a very basic, ordinary, simple phone. They don't make these anymore. It's a very basic budget phone. They were being discontinued when I got it. That's why I got it on it for a good price. It was being discontinued, but it still works. I've been using it for years. Definitely, when I need a new phone, I'll buy the same brand company that made this. These guys have been great. This has been a very good phone for the price and for its functionality. And the audio is pretty good on this phone. Like it picks up the audio very well. And I've dropped it and bumped it so many times. It's been on 3 continents, and yeah, these videos have been done over 3 continents now. I think I'm gonna start to shut this video down here, and I'll spend some more time in the next video. In 19. So let's see if there's any final thoughts here. What time is it again? 5:24. Theoretically, I do have another half an hour before it gets too dark, but yeah, I'll tell you in the next video what this is. I gotta figure out what this is. Maybe it is a coconut. Maybe it is a young coconut. Oh yeah, I bet you 10 to 1 it is a coconut. Not like a coconut. Those coconuts that give you the coconut water. Not with the, like the traditional coconut. The green coconut. Maybe that's what it is, the green coconut. Oh gosh, oh jeez, that reminds me. I don't know if I should comment on it, but that phrase, I don't want to repeat it, but that phrase, the coconut, oh my god. If we're going to try to save it, if someone's going to use it, at least for Pete's sakes, understand that it's a troublesome phrase. But oh, all right. Did I get him in? Did I point it at the right angle? He's sort of waving his wings. At least if someone is going to come across that phrase somewhere, at least infuse into it the psychology that it's a metaphor for, drumroll please, identification with the aggressor. Number 1, there is no white or black. Forget this nonsense. Nobody has white skin. Nobody has, there's white, right? Nobody has, my shirt is white. Nobody, Jane Elliott has a white sweater. Nobody has white. Like that swan there. Nobody has skin like that. Yeah, look at that swan. Is it showing up there? Nobody has white skin. Like that swan's feathers are white. Nobody has white. Forget this nonsense. There's no white or black. Everybody has a shade of beige or a shade of brown tone of skin. Jane Elliott says, technically speaking, since we're dealing with the quantity of melanin, then everybody has a degree of melanin, and the melanin is, the baseline of melanin is a shade of brown to beige. She says shade of beige is still technically a shade of brown. It's like a light shade of brown. So even a shade of beige is a shade of brown. And if you think somebody is kind of pale or something, well, that's the trauma of the blood being diverted to protect the vital organs, so there's less blood, so they look a little palish, but there's still a shade of beige. Everybody's got a shade of beige tone of skin or a shade of brown tone of skin. So number 1, it's troublesome to use that metaphor of the coconut. I don't mean the green coconut. But anyway, it means identification with the aggressor. If somebody with a shade of brown tone of skin is enraged that they're acting like the aggressor and they call them that, what they mean is that person was so traumatized that they've identified with the aggressor. The skin is a shade of brown on the coconut is a shade of brown on the top, but they act like they have a shade of that they are a person who had a shade of beige tone of skin who are traumatized and they become that. That's what he means, like brown on the outside, white on the inside, but there is no white. So that's what I hate about it. There is no white. Nobody has white skin. Jesus Christ. Michael Jackson did a great thing with his song, Man in the Mirror. Look in the mirror and heal that person. Number one. Man in the mirror, woman in the mirror, person in the mirror. Look in the mirror. What do you see there? Start there. Heal that person. Help that person you see in the mirror get their soul. Start there. But his other song, Black or White, that he's promoting this problem. This promotes the splitting. Nobody has black skin or white. Forget this. I'm so tired of this. Everybody is a shade of. Everybody's a human being. Everybody's a human being. And you can say, if you're going to say this, you can say he has a shade of beige tone of skin. He has more of a shade of brown tone of skin. Jane Elliott says we're still all cousins from that massive family in Africa. We split around. This interaction with the sun affected our melanin, which affects the tone of our skin, hair and eye, color of hair, eyes, tone of skin. But we're still from that same family. She says many people the shade of beige tone of skin just lost the melanin, i.e. they lost their tans, quote unquote. But nobody is a metaphorical C-O-C-O-N-U. Okay, forget that stuff. So that's kind of disturbing. It's kind of sad to see somebody with a shade of beige tone of if somebody with a shade of brown tone of skin refers to another person with a shade of brown tone of skin as a C-O-C-O-N-U, fill in the blank. Yeah, and what he means is, you look, you have a shade of brown tone of skin, but you think you're a person with a shade of beige tone of skin. Like you're brown on the outside, with a shade of beige on the inside. Let's do it this way. If we're going to do it, let's say it this way. The coconut on the surface has a shade of brown tone of hair, okay? The coconut on the surface has a shade of brown, right? And let's just say, it's not accurate, but let's just say that on the inside, it's a shade of beige, although it is white. There's the problem. That's why it doesn't work, right? But what he means is, what that person means is, that guy with the shade of brown tone of skin, who was angry at his friend who had a shade of brown tone of skin and called him that, what he says was, look, you're abused by the intergenerational trauma of what happened to your family when your family was when all that abuse took place. Right, 70 million indigenous people destroyed, murdered, and all this, in Turtle Island, slavery and all this. And he becomes the aggressor. When a baby's so abused and so traumatized, he becomes the mother. He thinks he's the mother. So if somebody with a shade of brown tone of skin is very abused in all that old time activity, they think they're the aggressor. They think and act like the aggressor. Then somebody who didn't identify well like that, oh yeah, you did that. So as a shortcut, he would call him a COC and you and all that. Maybe a better version is Willie Mitchell, the singer Willie. Now when I say Willie Mitchell, I feel badly talking about it. I didn't do it right here. Let me update this. Let me do a better version of this. I feel like I didn't do a good version of this. Yeah, I feel badly about it. I'm not a good. I never went to speaking school or as a rationalization. Right? Yeah, I feel like I didn't quite present it in a way that's helpful. I feel like I missed it. I feel like I missed it. I feel like I didn't say it right. Let me revise this or update this. Okay. So Robert Bly, when he speaks to an audience, he says, "Look, audience, I make mistakes all the time. You got to figure this out. 30% of what I'm going to say to you tonight is wrong. It's up to you to figure out which 30%. So I make mistakes too. So let me see if I can update this." Now, the singer Willie Mitchell. Now, when I say Willie Mitchell, I mean the indigenous singer who sings the song "Call to the Moose," "Birch Bark Letter," "I Promised You a Song," and many others. He's got another song called "Killing Your Mind," "Killing the Mind." One of those two, killing apostrophe N. The mind or your mind. I think it's the killing the mind. He talks about that. He's singing to other indigenous people like himself. Geez, you act like the aggressor. Your mind was really destroyed. So back to Ferenczi. He came up with the phrase 100 years ago called identification with the aggressor. That's how babies adapt. If the mother's abusing the baby, he thinks like her. That's a huge topic, major topic, a major chapter in our thing, prejudice, major booklet, a lot of emotional material. We talk about projection, identification with the aggressor, scapegoating, emotional triangle, this issue of symbiosis, and the fear of the other, because other reminds you of the mother. The fear of the other, somebody with a different culture or other, it reminds you of the mother. All you got to do is put a dash between the M and the O in the word mother, and you get the whole thing. Fear of the other, click, triggers up, transfers up the mother. Your hatred of the mother for not loving you to get you to your personhood, where you got to self and other. You didn't get love. You got to get loved by the mother to get to self and other. For the other, the mother was loving, so she's a person, you're a person to person. You didn't get that. So if you see someone who seems to be other, reminds you of the mother didn't love you enough. The baby didn't get his needs met enough to reach the place of differentiation of self and other. So when he sees somebody who he's going to think is other, oh, there's the mother. So you hate the other because you hate the mother. So that's a lot of prejudice comes from this issue. Stranger anxiety, that topic. Okay, that's another one. So we got the different theories on prejudice. Prejudice was created. Prejudice was made. Deliberately or unconsciously deliberately as a panicked reaction to our 10,000 years ago when we went from village to pillage. We at the same time we went from tolerant personality, our natural state, tolerant personality, to prejudiced personality, because a prejudiced personality is needed to pillage. And they've got that whole, again, 2725, part 3 of 3. Yeah, I'll bet you 10 to 1. This is what they call a young coconut, a green coconut. And you can drink the coconut water from it, but there's no coconut flesh inside you can eat, right? Maybe you can use it some other way or something. So all this time I've been sitting underneath a coconut tree. Really? Where'd that come from? Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, I see it now. Oh, there it is. Over there. How did it fly? How did that fly all the way over here? There it is there, right? Yeah, there's the coconut tree, right? Oh, my goodness, you got to be kidding. How did it fly from there to over there? Wow. That's a little mystery there. Oh. Hey, Swan. How you doing? How you doing, buddy? You entertain a lot of people. Do you know that? A lot of people feel very delighted when they see you for one reason or another. You're a happy sight. He's not aware of it, of course. It's really just a bird, right? Oh, that's nice. The staff are having their little meeting inside. Yeah, that's good. They deserve a break. Oh yeah, when they work very hard. A lot of functions and company events take place here. That's the rare time when they don't have guests this time. So maybe I should leave. Let them have a complete freedom. Okay, I don't want them to worry about me. Let's wrap it up and let the staff have their break. They deserve it. Oh, the waitress has a rabbit. Oh, we got a rabbit. Can we get the rabbit in the camera? Yeah, can I get the rabbit in the camera? Yeah. Here's we got a cute little rabbit here. Check it out. All right. Oh my goodness. Nice furry rabbit. Oh, that's great. Oh, he's a cute little guy. Yeah, he's a cute guy. He's a cute little guy. Well, thanks for the view. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Why are you? What are you going to do with them? You're not going to... These other ones are sleeping, huh? I once did this imaginary dialogue. Let's not do it this time here. Imagine a dialogue between this stone rabbit. Imagine a dialogue between this stone rabbit who doesn't feel real. Imagine if this stone rabbit could talk to those real rabbits, and he were kind of like the Velveteen Rabbit, saying to the real rabbits, "Hey, real rabbits, talk to me. What does it feel like to be real and feel real? I want to feel real and be real. I feel stone. I don't feel really real and alive." One last little stretch here. Yeah, during the week, I'll do some videos in the mall. I discovered a new venue in the mall. They have this work, like study work thing. It's very expensive, like to join it. But they have this little poor man's version where you can buy a drink and sit on the outside of it for 2 hours. So that's not bad. But here, let's wrap it up here. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Any final thoughts here? Any final thoughts here? Yeah, so we'll do some more videos in a cooler venue next week. I'm still feeling badly about the loss of that first hour and a half, the take one that got lost. I miss my enthusiasm. I miss my freshness in it. I miss my excitement and freshness that I felt. This take two is a little more subdued, a little more mellower. I feel a twinge of a little ongoing sadness throughout the whole video. So this presentation is not as fresh and upbeat as the first one. But I want to post the quotes. I want to get these quotes out. These are hard to find quotes. A lot of these quotes come from books which haven't been digitized yet. Or they're from quotes which were once upon a time digitized, which I caught, but which have since been removed, withdrawn. So a lot of these quotes are hard to find. Now at the same time, new books are being added, so we're getting new quotes, or adding new quotes at the same time. But excellent old quotes are being harder to find. Masterson's books were all withdrawn. You got to be kidding me. One of the greatest shrinks of all time, Masterson. James F. Masterson. His book called The Search for the Real Self has won a Golden Windmills of the Mind Award. His books were all removed. Edmund Burglar. Now luckily with Edmund Burglar, almost all of his books have been digitized. But his articles are hard to get. He's got 300 articles. Now, when he passed away, his wife compiled 70 of his articles into a book called Selected Articles by Edmund Burglar. And she said she thought that this was a pretty good kind of overview sort of thing. But that's only 70. What about the other 230? Come on, post them all. Burglar's a brilliant guy. Huh? It may be that Burglar's the #1 greatest contributor to 1000. Wow. He's up there. We got a lot of great quotes from Burglar. 24 books, 300 papers. A very prolific author of psychoanalysis. He wrote mainly during the 40s and the 50s. Great stuff. Psychology of, fill in the blank. Okay. Fill in the blank. The psychology of, whatever you might put in that blank, chances are he talked about it. And we discussed a lot of these quotes. The record metaphor comes from him. I discussed in the last video. I mean in the 2817. Yeah, part 2. Hang on. It's either in part 1 or part 2. I often include the record metaphor, Edmund Burglar's theory about the record. The 45 record, a simile, a very good metaphor about repetition compulsion, about the record. So, chances are if you watch any other video, you'll hear a discussion about it. Like that rabbit was clearly white, right? That rabbit, white rabbit, the white swan. Nobody has that color of skin. Let's stop this nonsense. Everybody has a shade of beige or a shade of brown tone of skin. Come on, at least do that. Yes, it's awkward to use the extra vocabulary. He's a human being with a shade of beige tone of skin or a shade of brown tone of skin. And you might say, Jane Elliott, again, that shade of beige is really a shade of brown because we're dealing with melanin. Everybody's got a level of melanin, some range between 1 to 6. The natural state is the full 6, but we lose it with in cold climates over time with the sun exposure. So she says, Jane Elliott says, we're all still Africans, really. Like we're really all. I think very few people have been able to make the argument otherwise. We're all from that one hominid. We're the only ones with 3 brains. Like, come on. You know, myths and fairy tales, the motifs are the same from any place around the world. After all these 10,000 years, the same stuff, even though we're separated in different places over time, we spontaneously all created the same kind of motifs. That means we're the same traumatized mind. We're coming up with the same stories because we're the same. If rabbits could make stories, it'd be different from the way elephants, it'd be different from the way geckos make stories. I mean, come on. These are our human stories. We're all members of Homo traumicus, Homo short-sellicus, Homo economicus, Homo... anxiety-acus? Homo repetitionicus? Homo traumicus. If we say Homo traumicus, oh, this is a new one. If we say Homo traumicus, and trauma and repetition compulsion are synonymous, we can say we're all Homo traumicus. homo repetitionicus. When there's trauma, we repeat in a positive way to know the trauma, or as a defense to avoid the memory, we repeat, so then you don't remember when you repeat. But at the same time, when you're repeating, you're trying to remember. So it's kind of blended in there. You're partly doing it because you're afraid to remember, but you're trying to remember, but you're afraid. So the repetition is both. You're not remembering, but you're trying to remember. Hence, you're repeating to try to remember. And the repetition is that you don't remember. And you may be very stubborn in your repetition and be relentless in your repetition. That's clearly a defense. I don't want to remember. No, this cookie will be mother's love in the past. It'll work this time. Just keep trying. That's called relentless, unreal hope. Relentless, unreal, symbolic hope. No symbol of mother is the actual mother that was needed. So a very good introduction to psychoanalysis. We covered here in our collection from 2745 to 70. 45 to 70 by Arthur Janoff. Very good. He himself synthesizes psychology in his 16 books. And out of his synthesis of it all, I plucked out the best of gems of his and posted them, 300 of his quotes. I think those 300 plus quotes we have here from 2745 to 70 represent an excellent psychology 101 or Janoff 101. We cover beliefs, we cover repetition compulsion, the three brains theory. We cover this. It's really good. It's if you want a good introduction to psychoanalysis, I think Janoff provides that middle ground. That nice, clear writing of his. Don't be turned off if by chance you hear that name and you freak, you little, hold the phone here. He wrote 16 books, not just that first one and all the drama around it back in 1970. He quietly wrote 16 other books, and we posted the best quotes for the most part of the books I was able to access. Some of the books are hard to find. Yeah, another good. There's a good example. Some of his books are very hard to find. So luckily, I got one of those hard to find books, and I posted some quotes in our collection. And I'm thinking in the future that book might be like really almost impossible to find, but we got the best quotes preserved. That's sort of the tone of the whole thing. We got the best of the best quotes from psychoanalysis, I believe. So for convenience, for a minimal admin fee, for the price of barely a coffee, half a coffee, one can have this encyclopedia. It 2,000 pages, like as shown earlier. Imagine 2,000 of those pages on your iPhone. You can scroll around, read it on the beach kind of thing. And if you just do it for 10 minutes, I think you'll get one little aha. And if something's bothering you, just start reading a bit. You might get, oh my God, it fits. It might help a little bit. Sometimes it can be used in many ways. It's a great resource. I think everybody over 40 can benefit from it. Once again, the best intro, but the finest, best introduction to psychoanalysis, still, in my humble opinion, is the comic. The 1955 comic called Psychoanalysis. Every 3 months during that year, they put out an issue, and it just ran for the 1 year, so there are 4 issues. 4 years ago, they reissued the complete run in a book, hardback book, and there's a digitized version of it as well. The original print, in 55, it was only 10 cents, right? If you could get a mint copy of that, it's worth like $1,000 now. So, I mean the set, I think if you can get the set. If you can get a mint set from 55, that'd be worth over $1,000, I'm sure. But never mind that kind of part of it. You can get a digitized copy of that comic. Yeah, put it this way, you can get a digitized comic. You can get a digitized version of $1,000 comic, put it that way, just to motivate you, just as a motivation. So there are 12 therapy sessions in the complete run. One Freddie, I think there were 4 sessions with a guy named Freddie. I think there were 3 with a lady named Ellen, and 5 with a guy named Mark. So Mark, Ellen, and Freddie were 3 fictional made-up clients, and between the 3 of them, all in the complete thing, there are 12 sessions, 12 therapy sessions. In each session, you'll learn something about psychoanalysis, self-defeating behavior, projection, family systems theory, emotional eating, overeating, womanizer. The Don Juan syndrome is in there. The Don Juan syndrome is in there. Yeah, Mark had a Don Juan syndrome. That's in there. You know, Ellen always criticized herself, right? So she transferred her inner critical mother's hatred of her onto the world, and I thought everybody criticized her. So she backed off, kind of thing, and avoided everybody. And had an immense social anxiety because of that. But she didn't know she was doing that. And self-fulfilling prophecy. She avoided everybody, and everybody hated her, and that fueled the projection. See, mother hated me. Oh, everyone hates me. So she kind of cycled it around like that. Her projections. How are we doing here? Yeah, I feel like I should get going here. I'm like the last. Maybe that's what it is. If I leave, they'll close. This is a holiday. Maybe. Oh my! I hope that's not the case. Just in case, let's wrap it up here. Oh, the battery's draining. Look at that. Even after the reboot, the battery's still draining. Unbelievable, eh? Jesus Christ! Let's check it out. Is it still on? It's still on. Look at that. It's still on. So my battery's overheating again. Unbelievable. It's still on. It's still draining. It's still on. 84%, right? Unbelievable. I'm glad I checked. Oh, that'd be annoying if I lost this one as well, yeah. Okay, let's wrap it up here. I don't think I have any funny jokes at the end here. In the last video, I did a joke by Stern. Should I do it quickly again? Stern said that when he was starting out to become a shrink, first, the rule is, in order to be a shrink, you have to first go to a shrink and be analyzed. So he was talking about that time when he first went to a shrink. And as a client trying to heal from his problems and all this, he said that he was trying to placate the shrink, to soften up the shrink or something. He was afraid of the shrink, telling all these jokes or something. Because as a child, he said he felt some safety when he made everyone laugh and all this. So he tried to make the shrink laugh. But the shrink doesn't collude with this, he interprets. So the shrink would never laugh. And Stern was complaining, geez, I can never make this guy laugh here. This is my defense. This is my shield. This is my armor. This is my protection. I want to make him laugh. I tried and tried to make him laugh. Oh my God, I can't make the shrink laugh. So he gave up and said, wait a minute, I got one more. He tried one more time to make the shrink laugh, and he did it. As follows. He said to the shrink, oh, hold on a second. Let's wait till this guy's passed through. Oh, delivery trucks are also, they're not closing, they're still open. Alright, so he said to the shrink, I got one more joke for you, shrink. You're not laughing at my jokes. I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to get you this time. I don't know what I'm paraphrasing. Anyways, the story goes as follows. Once upon a time, there was a homeless guy on the street or something, and he saw a wealthy man pass by. A well-dressed man passed by. He stopped him and said, hey, sir, you think you could spare a quarter for a cup of coffee and all this? For a cup of coffee, can you spare me a quarter? The well-dressed man paused and said, hey, wait a minute. I gave you a quarter an hour ago. The homeless man said, mister, stop living in the past. Be here now. Enjoy the present. Enjoy the moment. Seize the moment. It's the present. Enjoy the present. You're lingering in the past. You're dwelling in the past. You're fixated on the past. You're living in the past. Stop living in the past. Apparently the shrink smiled at least at that point. If the shrinks deal with this issue, that clients are dwelling in the past, lingering in the past, repeating the past. And we transfer the past to the present still the past emotionally. Yeah, okay, let's wrap it up here. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much. What about close up here with these nice little white flowers here? Aha! Oh, they're blossoming a bit. Yeah. Okay. These not sure what this is. We're getting. Hang on a second. Let's try these. Are they showing up? These little white blossoms? They're not really showing up, are they? There's some over here. Okay, let's end up with this nice little image here of the nice little flowers here. And on this nice little image here. Thank you, flowers, for your beauty and fragrance. We love you. Once again, thanks very much, and I'll see you in 2819.